can keep going. So Darby falls through the bed, re-enters the light. Anon and Egg are observing the little fire pit.
You think we
like
should
to go
light
over
it?
to the-
Shadow flames. Oh, it's already lit. In fact, you can feel the heat coming off of it.
I'd like to go over to the table.
Okay.
Is there anything on it?
No.
And no chairs around it or anything?
It's a rectangular. Like, so the table token here isn't really indicative. It's like a rectangular cafeteria bench table.
So it's got like benches or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Are these just wooden chairs that are near the
They're
thing here?
They're benches.
Oh, they're benches, right? My bad. Well, either way, I'm gonna drop the torch right here. Oh, I accidentally grabbed that. I'm gonna walk over to the bench and just kind of slump down on it. Just be like, I just need a breather.
Sure. The fire is warm, which indicates that it's maybe not too huge, but you can definitely feel the effects of its heat. Darby, you've been in a situation like this maybe once before, and from your understanding, you feel as though you might either be at the threshold where the planes meet, or that you guys have indeed passed through to that plane. And perhaps this is a pocket that whoever created this area, someone carved out. But you know that it's best not to linger long.
Okay.
I would say when your initial deal was struck, there were literally just moments on the material plane, but your entire conversation would likely have happened in a place just like this.
Okay. I know you guys are a bit banged up, but we shouldn't linger here.
Yeah, I agree.
How are we doing on healing potions?
I have one.
I think I'm the only one who used one.
Yeah, I still have one, I think.
So we have 2 total.
I guess so, yeah. Because you just used yours technically or whatever, right?
Well, I didn't bring one. I brought antitoxin.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the 2 then.
Okay.
Well, what next?
Is this a door over here on the right-hand side of the left-hand side of the room?
Yes, 2 open doors.
Okay. Well,
Does the
what are we
light
thinking?
pass through the threshold of the doors?
No, it does not.
Okay, I'd like to investigate this door.
Okay. Do so at investigation, or at disadvantage. Wow.
Damn.
That's pretty
Well.
good disadvantage.
Yep.
There go my fucking good luck for like the rest of the
Well,
campaign.
you're also not in combat, so
I
that should have
know.
been in the tower.
But it was 220s.
It was 220s. But it's like rolling 20s on the floor. It doesn't matter. Not on the table.
Wow.
That sucks.
Killing me, Smalls.
Fine. The formless and featureless door is difficult to investigate for anything more than feel and shape. Is there anything in particular you were looking for when investigating this door?
If there was like, well, you said it was open, so is there like an actual passageway, or is it just like a
Yes.
shadow on a wall?
Well, there isn't even a wall. But if you kind of like put your hand where you definitely feel the portal of a door.
Okay, and then I'll check the other door, and is that the same thing?
Yes, they both feel wooden. They both have metallic latches that would otherwise close them, and you feel that the inside of the door on both has bar hooks, so that the door could be barred from the other side.
Well, we've got two directions.
I'm gonna go over to Egg and Anon and just kind of assess how they look and how badly they're hurt.
Merely a flesh wound. It'll heal. How about you?
Anon looks much worse than Egg.
Alrighty. Well, we're pretty low on healing potions, so I think we're gonna have to do something about that. Since we don't have time to rest, we're going to twin cast an upcast of healing word on the two boys. And I think I'm gonna re-roll that one.
Okay.
Ha!
So plus
9
one more.
for you both.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
While that's happening, can I grab the torch and move it far enough just to make sure there's nothing on this eastern wall?
Yep. And there is not.
Okay.
And then since I'm on the verge of death, I think a 3rd level for me. Thank you very much. Okay. I could still re-roll that one. Ha ha ha. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Rerolls for days.
I had to check the rules just to be sure, but
Yeah, it's whenever.
yeah.
None of us have a coin to flip.
Now, Darby, you didn't find anything specific about either of the two doors?
Nothing that I noticed.
Hmm.
Which wall was the safe wall in the pyramid room? That was the east, wasn't it?
It was the western door that we went through that said truth on it.
Should we follow that theme?
Sure.
Probably has
Why
no
not?
correlation.
Well, we won't know unless we
Well.
try, I suppose.
Let's do it.
Okay. The
Egg takes
group.
a deep
Go ahead.
breath and second wins himself and then steps to the door first.
Okay. Egg steps through the western door, disappearing from sight.
Peddling
Mm.
follows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. As all four of you exit the little barracks, you come into what looks to be a type of, well, it's all in muted shades of gray, but it's like a storage room or maybe something to that effect. There's a single long table in the center, and upon it are several just, well, you'd have to get closer and look at them, but just weird little objects that maybe look like picture frames.
And I did grab the torch as I walked by. So
Okay.
I am the one carrying that.
Okay.
I'll move up with the light and investigate the frames.
Okay. As you're taking a look at the frames, you see that each one is labeled with a name, but that there are also pegs to hang them on in the wall.
Is this the same language as throughout here?
Yes.
Okay. What is our count of paintings?
10. Same number as were in the hallway previous.
Oh boy, did anyone memorize what order the paintings were in?
We couldn't even tell who was in the paintings.
Yeah.
The only thing that we know is that the painting of what might have been Pete was at the very end.
Pete! Are these paintings also blurry?
They're just frames.
Oh, okay.
So there's nothing in the frames?
No, they're blank except for the frame and the nameplate at the bottom.
I'm looking for the nameplate that says Pete.
There is no nameplate that says Pete.
Damn.
That you can read.
Well, can you read them?
I can read everything.
So what do they say?
You want to give me a dump of those names?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Is it Peter? Is that what I should be looking for?
Peter.
Isn't that your name?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot that your name was Peter.
Yeah.
Damn.
Do any of these names mean anything to Darby?
You might have seen Malevenum. You might have seen Barmir. You've definitely seen Perfect. They are, as best you understand them, archons of shadow.
That's not ominous.
Nope.
They are effectively beings that your patron has communicated to you that you should attempt to strive to be like.
Mm,
The three in the middle. 2,
okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing one. Oh, there. Still those same three, though.
And the pegs on the walls, are they all on a singular wall?
Yes. No. It's 5 on one side, 5 on the other, just like the hallway.
Okay.
Is there another door out of this room or just the one that we came through?
Just the one you came through, and it is still there.
Is there anything else of note in the room?
Give me an investigation check. Or perception, sorry. Scouring through the muted gray effects of the room, what you do find looks to be a set of painter's tools, some magnifying glasses, various like aprons, things of that nature.
Are these items also monochrome?
As at first glance, yes, they all appear to be the same muted gray.
Hmm. Man, the magnifying glass would have been handy in that hallway.
Well, is there any reason why we couldn't go back to that hallway?
The door
doorway
back
isn't
doesn't
there.
exist.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who was it that said that you feel like you missed something?
Well, there were inscriptions that we couldn't read.
well, I guess
You can
now we
read
know what they
everything.
said. Well, shall we try putting them on the pegs? See what happens?
Or we could try the other room.
I'm gonna pull out my gun.
Oh, Lord.
Oh god.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask it, is there anything special to these names?
It laughs and replies audibly for everybody, yes.
What a smarmy asshole.
Hey, Darby,
Hmm.
you should ask it which of these names is down here. That creature we've been sent to find. Is one of these names theirs?
I can hear you, half-breed, and if they were,
Shit.
I wouldn't tell you. It's not as fun.
What are you?
Silence.
It's a gun. Or
What
gub.
is a gun?
I don't know. It makes a boom noise and things die. It's magic. It's fine.
Well, this
Darby,
is
do you want to
annoying.
tell him about your little friend there?
It's a tentacle.
Or rather, it was at one point.
I think it still is.
Well, it doesn't look like a tentacle now.
It's all dressed up.
Hmm.
There are like
Got its Sunday best on.
there are tentacles etched into the barrel and like carved into the grip of it.
Cool.
Okay, so we have a puzzle here, and the last time we fucked up a puzzle, didn't go so hot for us. We are missing some key information about it, though.
Yeah, like considering we can't read this, you won't tell us what you demon thing you're speaking to. I would say we're missing a lot of fucking information right now.
We should try the other door.
Whatever. I'm gonna go sit down. You guys can figure out what to do, and then I'll join you.
Where are you going to go sit down?
I'm just gonna go back to the main room to the bench.
Without the torch, there is no bench.
Son of a bitch.
He goes into the dark room and sits down where the bench used to be.
Yep,
Feet.
on the floor.
Uh-huh.
Good enough.
All right, you feel your way to the best of your ability back to where you thought the bench was, and take a seat.
Yeah, because the fire's gone too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if we walk in there with the light and the bench materializes into him,
I mean,
We'll-
there
we'll
are
see what
rules
happens.
for in D&D for shunting.
Oh God.
Let's do it.
Maybe you could just make your way over to the wall where you might be safe
No.
rather than.
No, I'll just stand around. I'm not gonna sit on the floor. I don't even know where the fuck we are, so seems like a bad idea to just sit on the floor.
okay,
Just
well, we'll go
splay
take a
out.
peek in the other room.
Yes,
Okay.
Egg is in favor of going to the other room. He will go to the other room.
Roll a percentile die anon.
Oh God.
Oh, okay.
Publicly, please.
Publicly. Got it.
Wow.
Okay. Anon is shunted.
No.
As he did indeed expertly navigate himself right back to the bench. Ooh, 10 damage.
Nice.
As he has forced out of as two material objects cannot exist together. He is, by the laws of physics in the universe, forced aside. It hurts.
Man, 100 though. Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Penguin like scurries over to where Anon and it's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
I think so.
It's like you've just been pushed through a sieve.
That would be
let that be a
weird
lesson to you.
to like lose
Never
health.
sit.
Lose health, but like to have no wound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually learned some things recently about HP that make more sense, but it's neither here nor there.
It's like you were beaten with a sack of oranges.
Yeah.
In a sock.
Well, sock, you know.
Yeah.
We did actually have somebody who didn't believe me when I said that doesn't leave a bruise, and so he had me test it on him. That was great.
That was a good time.
Anyhow, the group is going to head south into the other door,
Yeah.
And I
Having
suggest
left
we
him?
all go together.
having left everything as is.
Yes.
Okay. So, you enter the door to the south all together, and immediately I need acrobatics checks from
Damn it.
each of you.
Okay.
Darby may make yours at advantage. Egg, yours will be at disadvantage. I'll explain why in a moment.
Okay.
Edelin stumbles and falls. Egg stumbles and falls. Anon and Darby stay upright as you find yourselves rocking back and forth, hearing the groan of timber and rope and the snap of sailcloth. Your senses are assaulted by the strong, salty wind blowing in from a place that you cannot see as you're in yet another void of shadow. The torch does illuminate that you appear to be in what looks like a hold of a ship. and the rolling and bucking of the ground beneath your feet would serve to further reinforce that thought.
Is the
Exit.
door
This-
behind us
Are
gone?
we on a fucking boat?
This
The
is
door
the
behind you is gone.
this is the
Well, we're
weirdest
puzzled.
dungeon I have ever been in.
We're not in a dungeon.
We're in a boat.
In fact, we're no longer on the material plane.
That sounds real bad.
We're on the boat plane?
What is it with you and boats?
I had a bad experience.
Many
Traumatic
bad
childhood.
experiences, maybe. A handful, a few.
Eggs
A
afraid
number.
of
Years of
drowning.
trauma.
Yeah,
Whatever.
no biggie.
Okay, I'd like to look around our immediate area.
The gun at your hip chuckles and lets out a quiet, impressive. So bathed in torchlight, you begin to take a look around the various objects in the hold of the ship that you have found yourself in, and you are indeed in the bunk room. There are what look to be 6 shadow hammocks, a few various crates, and then of course the standard shipping provisions. So rope, likely some barrels that, if you kind of nudge at them, probably contain some sort of liquid, and a stairwell leading to the upper deck at the end of the hold, opposite of where you are.
Knowing ships, what kind of sense of scale do I have based on the interior that we're in?
This is likely a personal ship that could carry a crew of about 10. So on the smaller side, but based off what you're seeing, it looks like it is well outfitted.
Well outfitted with the same shadowy shit as the other room.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I suppose we press on.
By this point, your makeshift torch will have begun to burn down slightly. Its range is only half as effective.
Darby, how the hell are we gonna get back?
Suppose we hope for the best.
Oh God.
Oh, good.
Do we still have like any more oil left in that flask?
I'm sure you probably do. I didn't. You likely didn't consume the entire pint.
Can
Say
we
you
take
have
egg
half.
sleeves now?
Well, you'll need a new source of wood. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay. Do you have another javelin?
No.
Hmm.
Wood everywhere, but not a drop to use for a torch.
You're welcome to try to cannibalize this little crossbow I've got.
What kind of crossbow is it? Is it a light crossbow?
It's a light crossbow.
That's not that little.
Well,
A survival check might tell you whether or not that would work as a makeshift torch.
I'll do that.
okay.
Egg feels confident that he could fashion the crossbow into a torch at the cost of the crossbow's functionality, of course.
And his sleeves. We should probably do that, considering darkness has been a detriment.
I
On
may
one
You
hand,
point
okay
out
with losing
that
your
well,
crossbow?
if
I-
this room behaves the same as the one you just lost, think about
Yeah.
what might happen if the light goes out.
Oh, we wouldn't
Oh,
be on a
God.
boat anymore. It'd be great.
Yeah, it would be in the ocean.
That's less good. Make that. Give me that.
Petalin gives over the crossbow quickly.
All right. Egg goes about making it a torch.
Okay. Your survival skill was solid, so you now have another torch. Do you light the torch?
Yes.
Okay. So you now have another fully burning bright torch. I can't believe none of the casters have a light cantrip. That's crazy to me.
Well, we had one,
Mm-hmm.
and then he died.
Our light went out.
Yeah. A light did go out. Okay. What now?
Onward and upward.
Okay. The group heads above decks. The first person who goes up, I'm guessing Darby, since he's taking the lead here, is the familiar one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You find your face pelted with wind and rain.
I hold on to my hat.
Okay. You have come aboard the top deck or the main deck of, as I had mentioned before, a small personal sailing ship. You seem to be in the midst of a storm, though it is a mild storm. You can definitely hear the sailcloth whipping and snapping. There's the occasional rumble of thunder, and otherwise, you can feel the raindrops hitting your face, and that they are definitely wet, but they are just as shaded as all other material objects were in the previous room, thus leading you to believe that you're not fully on the shadow plane, but you're definitely not fully. You're not still on the material plane either. Dorothy, you are not in Kansas anymore.
Now, is there an actual like outside, or does like past the light? It's just darkness off
Past
the
the
edge of
light
the
is
boat.
just darkness.
Okay.
Um, Thankfully, given the size of the vessel and your torch, it is fully illuminated when you are brought on top deck, but you can hear the sizzle of flame as it is being struck by the raindrops. On one end is a slightly raised platform at the. Let's pull this up. Yeah, so that would be at the bow of the ship. There's a slightly raised platform, and then towards the aft is a personal quarter, likely where the person who owns the vessel would find themselves resting.
Well, I guess we should knock and say hello.
Whatever we can do to get the hell out of here, let's do it.
Agreed.
Okay, so you guys head to the aft and the little captain's quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is indeed a closed door, but the shadows cast by the light indicate that it does have a handle and is closed.
I'm gonna knock on the door
Okay.
and say
After
we've
three
come to parlay.
After three solid raps and Darby's call out of parlay, the door eerily and slowly slides open inward. The torchlight bathes the interior, revealing a table, a pair of chairs, or rather, a large desk, a pair of chairs seated on your side, and then a much larger one on the opposite.
Petalin nudges Darby like he should go in now.
Is there anyone visible in the room?
No.
Hmm. I'm gonna step inside.
Okay. Darby is inside. Anybody else going in?
I'll go in.
It's going in.
Okay. Anon?
Sorry, I was muted. Yep.
Okay. Everybody steps inside, finding that there are only 2 seats on this side of the desk. What do the other... Or who's going to take the seats? Who's standing? What are you doing?
I'm standing.
Darby's sitting.
Okay.
Is standing.
I'll
Okay.
sit.
All right. So Egg and Anon remain standing, I'm assuming, by the door. As you step inside, a haunting voice calls out from the larger chair behind the desk that says, kindly close the door behind you.
Was that in common?
It was in common.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. As you close the door, you find that there is some semblance of color that begins to flush into the objects within the room itself. Seated opposite you is a very, like, just barely visible, almost fully transparent, spectrous outline of a young woman. She's kind of sitting with her elbows on the desk itself, with her hands steepled together, leaning forward. She looks at each of the 4 of you. Just again, very, very vague outlines that you're able to see. You see that on the desk is a large bottle, as well as what looks to be a small chest.
Does the chest appear familiar to Darby?
The detail that you can make out is eerily familiar, but it is not the same chest. It has similar, if not identical, patterning, but it is a different
Okay.
size and a slightly different shape.
Is the room itself? And I would have handed the torch to Egg. I'm not going to be sitting in the chair holding a torch.
Sure.
But is there actual natural light in the room we're in aside from the torches?
No.
Okay.
But with the door closed, there is more than just black shadow. There is a bit of color to all of the spectrous images.
I'm going to place my gun on the table.
Okay. As you do so, you see that the gun is half shadow, half solid. When you do so, she asks, "May I?"
Suppose it would be rude of me to refuse. And I slide it towards her.
Her spectral hand wraps around it, and you see that it almost forms a fully corporeal hand. And she, like, it almost startles her as she looks at each of you and says, "Interesting. You're not fully lost. What are you doing here?" She sets the gun back on the table or on the desk and slides it back to Darby. You see that it's covered in what looks to be like sea salt crust, like it's been out for a while, and is very cool to the touch.
I'm going to say ectoplasm.
All I heard
Seems
was
the ties.
ectoplasm.
No, I thought you were going to say ectoplasm. It was
Oh,
covered.
no. No.
Seems the tides of fate brought us here.
She sighs, takes a deep breath, and says, "Oh, I don't think he has anything to do with fate anymore. Just as lost as we are, struggling for any semblance of stability. But if my senses are not mistaken, then he has brought you to me."
I wouldn't be surprised. He seems to have a way of twisting things.
As was always his way. Just tell me, what of the world?
I suppose that depends on your scale of time.
She leans back, taking her elbows off the table, and looks at each of the four of you and says, well, you all look, at least from what I can make out. And she kind of looks at Egg's torch and she says, for your sake, you best not let that go out, though it does make it quite difficult to see you here. The sundering was recent to me. Only just had the cataclysm, or rather, she would have said the great cataclysm.
Then much time has passed. The world in shambles. The gods lost.
Seems as though I was not successful. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Well, what brings you to my humble chambers? What can this old captain do for you?
What were you unsuccessful in doing?
Ah, she says, and raises a finger, slides the large chest to the center, or the chest to the center of the desk, and withdraws what looks to be like a key from a thong around her neck. And keep in mind, again, this is all very, very faded looking. There's only hints of detail. And so she slides it into the box, turns the key, and opens it. And inside, you see a magnificent, fully detailed, like almost fully corporeal, just like glittering ruby. But it's like hundreds of little rubies that are all stacked together in such a way that they almost look like an egg.
It's magnificent. What is it?
She says, if you don't know, then I cannot tell you. Not that I don't want to. I mean, I can't. The curses are a powerful thing. And as she closes the box, you think for a moment you see that like various shadows in the room reaching toward it. And so she snaps it closed, turns the key, and slides it back over to the edge of her desk. Says, perhaps he did not bring you to me. How did you find your way to this place?
Well, a curious story and honestly quite embarrassing. We were taken captive and sent on escapades to hunt down creatures. And you are apparently a target.
Well, if I had any inkling of understanding of what you're talking about, I might be inclined to agree with you, but it does seem a rather truly interesting coincidence that you, of all beings, would be brought here by a seemingly random group of entities with what aim?
I suppose to capture you, but I knew from the outset that that was a fool's errand.
Capture me. And did they tell you to capture me specifically?
They gave us some drawing of a lizard, but you're the
Her
only
eyes go
being we've
wide.
seen so far.
So her eyes went wide when you said that, and she says, oh, not for me. She says, leave my chamber, make your way down below deck. You'll find a portal. It will take you where you are meant to be.
What if If I could ask a bold, if not rude, question. What do you know
Yes.
of the relationship between him and Mordrak?
Who is him?
Indicating like the patron.
Oh, okay. So she just begins to laugh and like slaps the desk, laughing, head bowed over, and says, "Oh, that feud is still going. It won't matter. I I can't say anything more than it won't matter, so I may as well tell you. There is a debt owed to that creature. They conspired together.
Is the debt owed to Mordrak or to...
Just after the Great Calamity, or perhaps it was just before, it's been so long I can't remember, the being, the deity known as Mordrak, approached who would later become my master with a deal to recreate the pantheon, as it were. And that there were, oh, it must have been before, because, you know, as Mordrak approached, as it was explained to me, Mordrak approached this creature saying that a great calamity was coming, and that it was in effect to rebuild from errors that had been made, and that Mordrak had need of my master's power to raise a creature that would house the soul of magic, and thus it could not come from the material plane. And so this creature from the plane of shadow, which dwelt beneath the shadow sea, was presented to Mordrak in exchange for the promise of a seat of divinity when the bridge was rebuilt.
And I take it that didn't happen.
She shrugs. She says, there was a betrayal.
Did bringing the creature from the Sea of Shadow have anything to do with the Great Calamity? Did it
No,
cause it?
that was the betrayal, I think. There was I'm going to speak plainly, like not in character here, just to kind of speed us along, but a deity agreed to give up their divinity in order to be spared the great culling, as they didn't foresee themselves surviving, and they didn't foresee Mordrak as losing what was going to be a divine cull. So effectively, the god Mordrak, prior to becoming a god, uncovered a plot to utilize his ascension as a catalyst to stage a divine coup and reorder the pantheon. He decided he would use that information to just cull the pantheon himself because he felt it had become too bloated. He opened a place called the Forge of Creation. It's a mythical place where objects can be created with power to challenge the gods. At the forge, a mighty weapon was formed. And then, so the deity agrees to give up their divinity to be spared his Mordrak's cull, because they didn't foresee themselves surviving the cull, and they didn't really foresee them losing. So Mordrak makes a deal Then he makes a deal with a powerful creature of the plane of shadow, dwelling beneath the shadow sea, to create Spira, using the divinity of the god that agreed to give it up. They create the core that becomes the heart of Spira, which was meant to be a living city which would house Miratel, and become the basis of all magical knowledge, research, and worship. The deity that agreed to give up their divinity betrays Mordrak and the creature of shadow at the last possible moment by telling the other gods, those that opposed Malachi, wherein they go in and tamper with the Forge of Creation. And as he goes to sever the realms so that he can, like, he went in to sever the connection between the divines so that they wouldn't have as much power from their worshippers, because that's how gods get their power. And in doing so, it basically created a nuke which severed the realm from everybody. Only a few survived, and the gods were cut off. And thus, the sundering occurred.
Well, shit.
And she concludes that by telling you that this is all information that she was given by her master, the great beast of the Sea of Shadow. And so it should be taken with a grain of salt, she chuckles. As she concludes that, Darby's gun speaks up and says, no, she tells it true. Though there is plenty of salt to be had at sea. Take as many grains as you like.
I suppose, forgive my ignorance, I'm quite new to this arrangement and like gesture towards the gun. It was a deal made in dire circumstance, but I feel like there's some purpose for me to be here.
As they all are, she says. And she shrugs and says, I couldn't tell you. I am but a shadow of a memory. Now, if you would please, if you linger any longer, that torch will go out, and you will be just as lost as myself. And I have one favor to ask of you.
What can we do?
Put me out of my misery. I've suffered
How?
enough here.
Did that ruby mean anything to Darby?
No.
Okay.
But it was housed in a chest almost identical to the one where your gun was found. Just smaller.
How can we help you?
She's kind of shrugs and says, I can't say any more. No matter how much I would like to.
Well, I don't know if this is going to work. Darby's going to stand up and take the gun off the table.
Okay.
Walk behind the chair.
She turns and looks at you and says, if that would have worked, I would have done it myself. She says, again, I am a shadow of a fragment of a memory. If the opportunity presents itself, you will know it. It is the only favor I would ask of you. Consider it a form of repayment for the information that I have supposedly given you just now for the first time.
So the opportunity may not be now, but it would come later?
You'll know it when the time comes, I suppose.
Yeah, but with this group, you could wave it in front of our face, and we'd still miss it.
She shrugs and says, "Then so be it. If fate deems or rather, if it is such that my fate should be so cruel, then so be it."
That's so sad.
There he goes. Sorry, my brother's been very rude. I never got your name. I'm Egg.
She puts her thumb under her chin and says, "Hello, Egg.
Hello.
I seem to have forgotten mine."
That's a shame.
Her eyes seem to glitter for a moment while she looks at you and says, "A shame indeed."
We should go.
I'm good to go.
Darby,
Well, we
we should go
appreciate your
now.
time
Mm.
and the kindness you've shown us. Hopefully, we can repay that kindness in turn.
She shrugs and kind of gestures you towards the door, but waving her hand. Go on. All right, assuming
Mhm.
everybody's leaving and
Mhm.
heading out and going below deck, you do indeed find the portal that she spoke of, like a literal portal of like a white outline, and then you can see like the wavy like mass of energy. It's all black inside of it.
Well, no
All right.
time like the present. Let's go.
Ready to get off this boat?
So,
All at once, all together.
Egg steps through first.
okay.
Pedaling goes right behind.
I'm still
Okay.
trying to process what's going on. That was a lot of weird shit, and I follow.
Okay.
I'm gonna go before him because he's holding the other torch.
Okay. So, as the four of you pass through the portal, you see a large pillar coming from the ceiling in what looks to be like a large stone room with that similar monochrome. And then like at that large pillar, like it's like it's stabbed diagonally through the ceiling. There is a basin just below it. I'm not sure if I'm illustrating that right, but in that basin looks to be like a puddle of ooze, just kind of attached between the two, like suckling at something at the tip of the pillar stabbed through the ceiling. Um,
And it's still grayed out in here.
yes. Kind of like this. And that's just in the center of a room which is ambiently lit by no apparent light. And there is the occasional uncomfortable sound of suckling, which echoes through the room, and it's incredible acoustics.
All right, what's the over under of us getting attacked as soon as we approach it?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly.
I'm just wondering how we're supposed to get a puddle of ooze out of here. Nobody brought any jars. Oh Lord. I mean, we don't even know if that's the thing that we want.
Well, I've got the most HP to spare. I'm gonna go up and investigate it.
Okay. So you walk up, and it looks like the pillar that's stabbed through the ceiling is very crystalline. It's got like almost a glassy surface to it. Are you bringing a torch with you, or are you just using the ambient light?
I'm just gonna use the ambient light.
Okay. So yeah, like the creature sits atop like a small. Mm, that was very loud. What was that? Was it a
My
chair?
chair. Yep.
Oh, okay. It's like a little pedestal, basically, that it's sitting atop, and you see that it's largely formless and very much just like an ooze, but it is indeed attached to something, which is affixed to the tip of that glassy pillar, and is literally just sucking on it. It almost looks like a plain water skin.
Well, this is weird.
So we just take the water skin and it'll follow us. Easy peasy.
So the water skin is attached to the pillar, and that's what it's sucking at?
That's what Darby sees.
Okay.
How does it appear to be affixed to the pillar?
There isn't a clear. It looks like there's maybe a wedge cut in the tip of the pillar that it is shoved into.
Hmm. Okay. Well, this might be stupid.
Well, we need some
Uh,
ideas, so
I'm gonna poke the jelly.
With your hand?
Mm-hmm.
would you like to use perhaps one of my crossbow bolts?
Okay. Uh, you poke the jelly with your hand,
No.
and now I have to roll something.
Team Touchy strikes again.
No.
Uh, roll a d10
It's going to determine how many
publicly.
fingers you lose.
Okay. Roll a d8. Roll a d20. Okay. Make a dexterity saving throw. A tendril of inky darkness reaches out from within the ooze, attempting to touch you and drain your life. As you dive out of the way, You take 12 damage as the tentacle just barely grazes up against you.
You know what? Could have been worse.
Okay, so no touching.
The hell is that
I
thing?
I thought for sure you were dead. But I would like to second Anon's question about what the hell is that thing?
Okay. Out of character. We've got nothing else in this room. I'm guessing aside from this little lit spot, like we're in another void.
No, you're in like a stone chamber, but it's monochrome.
Okay.
A round stone chamber.
Can we
But this
tell if
was
there
the
are
only thing
other
in the room.
doors?
There are no doors in this room whatsoever.
Okay.
A perception check from Darby. Actually, his passive perception would reveal that it looks as though the pedestal that the creature sits upon is perhaps sitting on top of a trap door or a doorway of some sort in the floor.
Okay.
Okay. Still out of character. Should I blast the fuck out of it?
Probably not.
Well,
Probably just want to give it something else to drink so it'll move off the pedestal we need to get to.
that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, we have 3 full water skins. As
but
we
we don't
emptied
know if
one
it's
in the first
drinking
puzzle.
water.
All right, you ready to bleed into this water skin?
Oh god.
What color is this ooze?
Gray?
Right, okay. That's right. Everything's gray.
We could try cutting the water skin open.
Or just poking a little hole in it so that it drips slowly.
Sure.
Wait, you're gonna poke the water skin in the pillar or your own water skin?
No, like our own.
Okay.
No, the water skin in the pillar.
So we can figure out what kind of liquid it is.
Yeah.
Well, can we get close enough to it without having that thing touch us?
I have no idea. If the answer is no, then probably won't do that idea.
You could touch the water skin.
Yeah.
It's just
Don't touch
tall.
the ooze.
Well, like here, let me do this. Orange. Purple for this one.
My notes are so fucked up for this session. Just like desperately typing during large sections of text.
Jeez.
So what if
There we
this is
go.
the thing we need to destroy, though, to put an end out to the mystery captain?
There's a scale for you.
Oh, so it's am I the purple one? Is that a short joke?
I mean, you're literally half their height, so
Cool
I don't
hat
know
though.
that that's a joke.
I don't even wear that hat.
But it
maybe you should
indicates
start.
that you're the pointy hat spellcaster.
Okay,
He
so
wears her hat backwards. Wizard.
of all the spellcasters, I am the least closely related to being a wizard.
I'm still the most closely related on. Oh, by default.
Anyway, we can spitball some different ideas. So, we can try to push the pedestal just out of the way, or maybe push it over. We can outright attack the ooze. We can poke a hole in the water skin and try to lure it away. What are we thinking?
Push the pedestal out of the way. That sounds. I like that idea. Works.
I feel like it's gonna go berserk if it stops drinking, though.
Yeah, but I don't want it to stop drinking. I just want to move where it's drinking. Get to the trap. Is my idea. Whatever we're doing. That's like the thrust of it.
So maybe we have to get it to drink out of one of our water skins and then move the pedestal. Because I feel like it won't stretch like silly putty or taffy if we just push the pedestal. It's not gonna behave that way and keep drinking from the pillar.
We don't know
But
what the flow's like either, right? Like how much it's
yeah,
drinking.
for all we know, it could be empty. I like how Egg's head is egg shaped.
Me too.
Drawing doesn't show off the sadness in his eyes.
Feel free to modify it.
Would arm reach plus the length of the rapier reach the quote unquote water skin?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess what kind of check would I need to make to try and poke a hole in it?
Um. I- You know, I don't know. That I guess that would just be an attack roll. You're just trying to poke a hole in it.
Like gingerly, I don't want to thusly stab it.
Poor Egg, so sad.
That's the egg I know.
Okay, so I'm having an idea.
Careful.
I know.
Those are
What?
dangerous around here.
Lightning has just struck my brain. So I've got the rope of climbing. We could poke a hole in a water skin, tie it to the rope of climbing, use the rope of climbing to drag it along the floor, drawing the ooze away without us having to touch it. Like a fish on a line. And then move the pedestal.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody, or?
Yeah, well, we still need to know what's in it.
Well, did your attack roll? How did your attack roll do?
Man, did I hit a
Alright,
stationary target?
Yes, you did hit a stationary target. Barely. So the rapier pokes the wedged in water skin, but does not pierce it.
Huh.
Hmm.
All right. I'll do it then. I'll draw back an arrow, shoot it.
Okay.
I'm going to begin tying the rope of climbing to my water skin.
So the arrow misses.
Mhm.
Very, very much so. It explodes on the crystalline pillar.
I mean, fuck it. This isn't combat. I'll just do another one. There we
Okay.
go.
All right. So, the lightning arrow strikes the water skin, and the lightning just like dissipates up the pillar itself, but you see the water skin is unharmed.
Hmm. Magic water skin.
We already had one of those.
Well, we certainly don't have it now.
Can we actually see the liquid entering the slime?
Um, you see that there appears to be a liquid trickling down the slime.
But since it's all gray, we can't really tell what it is, can we?
Gray liquid of some sort.
So the water skin is kind of wedged into the end of this crystalline pillar thing, right?
Yeah.
Is the back end of it open to where, like, fluid from inside the crystal is flowing down into the water skin and then through the nozzle of the water skin to the slime? Is that what's happening?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So is the back end of the water skin open
No.
so it would behave like
It's
the
like
nipple on a
no.
bottle?
It's a normal water skin, and then the opening is what the ooze is sucking on.
Right, but it's like wedged into the pillar.
Yes.
Not like coned onto it.
There's a notch cut in the end of the pillar, and somebody's literally just shoved it in there. Maybe.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
blast it.
What?
We're just resorting to that.
No, we'll try this rope thing.
Okay. So,
There's the earth.
if y'all will go over to that side of the room, I'm going to fish for the slime and try to draw it to this side of the room. And as soon as it's off the pillar, you try to shove it so that we can get at the trapdoor. Okay?
I'm not going to be able to do any sort of shoving.
Yeah, don't let Darby help.
I'm going to be ready to blast it.
Though, Darby, I could use you to actually poke a small hole in this water skin.
I mean, I guess I'll do that.
Okay. And Egg and Anon, you're going over there?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So once Darby pokes a hole in the water skin, I'm going to kind of use the rope to swing it, and it's going to go plop right next to the, or rather, I'm going to try to get it next to the pedestal.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand to lift the water skin at the end of the rope and bring it towards the slime. We don't have a
So-
cowboy hat.
It's a
It's a
tricorn.
tricorn hat. Okay, so you're trying to fish the slime off the pillar?
Yes.
Okay. Make a athletics check to throw the rope, I guess?
Well, I'm throwing the water skin. It's just
To
tied
throw
to
the
rope.
water skin?
Well, no, I said I'm just gonna Mage Hand it over.
Oh.
Oh, fine. Okay. You mage hand the water skin in such a way that it is what? It's dangling above the ooze.
Now it's dangling next to the ooze so we can draw it off the pillar. And
Okay.
then once it kind of starts reaching for the water skin, we'll drop it down to the floor, and then I'll drag the rope and pull it towards this side of the room.
Here's a question for you. How do you intend to get it to go after your water skin when seems perfectly content with the one it has?
Well, we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, this is what
Maybe
I
it'll
was
work.
waiting to see how long it would take.
Well, since we're using Mage Hand, you could always just bump the water skin into the slime.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I guess I'm gonna bring it as close as possible to the slime, see if there's any sort of reaction.
it doesn't look like it.
Mm.
That's pretty good. That should be your
It-
avatar.
It seems uninterested in your water skin.
Damn.
I'm gonna like nudge it into the slime.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to roll a d10.
Really, with the water skin touching it?
Yes. That would be 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll a d6.
What the hell is happening right now?
Okay.
Magic. Real magic.
Oh god.
All these numbers are going to add up and tell a story.
Damn, I wish you had a d30 in here. Actually, I can probably narrow that down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll a d8. 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roll another d8. Okay. So roll 2 d8s now. 1 and 3. Okay.
You know what this feels
Wow,
like?
really?
This feels like in middle school when you had those girls with the little foldy paper things. And they're like,
The
pick a
fortune
color,
teller?
Yep.
pick a number,
Yep.
pick a color, and you're just like, oh god,
Yep.
the outcome's
Uh,
gonna be terrible.
Those witches hexed me to this day.
Okay. Everybody make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, good.
Oh man. Sorry guys, my plan was terrible.
Is it a thing I can see?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably go ahead and add my 2d4s to that. Yeah.
Smart.
Okay. So Anon is the only one who is enclosed in a sphere of shimmering force.
Oh.
Nothing, not physical object, energy, or other spell effects, can pass through. Additionally, a wall of fire manifests from the pillar. Or a ringed wall, 20 feet diameter, 20 feet high, and 1 foot thick. Yes, so ringing you all in.
So
You are all enclosed in a wall of fire that is 20 feet in diameter, 20 feet high, and 1 foot thick.
so it's a radius of 10 feet around the pillar.
Yeah. No, it's ringed around you, walling you off from the pillar.
So we're on the outside of it.
Yes, and so you will need to. I mean, it's going to burn you up. So, we'll have to do this in initiative order now. So I'm going to roll initiatives. Egg, you're first. You are inside the wall of fire. It is very hot. What do you do?
I try to get out of it.
Okay, you can attempt to dive through the wall of fire.
Okay.
You take 28 fire damage,
Okay.
but you are through the wall of fire.
Okay.
So we're on the outside. So he's
You're on
now
the inside.
So we're on the inside.
I have a ring of fire.
Mm-hmm. But we are
Egg
not
has
standing in.
dived.
But we are not standing in the fire.
Correct, but it is small enough that you are within 10 feet on any side of the wall, meaning that you are going to burn if you don't leave, and you'll burn if you leave. Unless you have a way to get through without diving through the fire. So that's Egg's turn. Pedalin.
I guess I'll misty step to the other side of the wall to where I'm not in the fire anymore.
Okay. Darby.
Okay, here's the dilemma. We don't know how long the ring of fire lasts and how long the force sphere lasts. Um, Shit. Having 2 spell slots blows. Can I cast Dispel Magic on the Ring of Fire?
You may target the ring of fire with dispel magic, yes. You have dispelled the ring of fire.
Nice.
Or Egg. By virtue of
Ow.
having gone first, you would have taken your damage regardless, but
Uh-huh.
funny that happened.
Okay, well, I have no spell slots to dispel the force bubble.
We can tie a rope around him. It's okay.
Just drag it along.
Yeah. At least he won't die.
So we're understanding now that in no way, shape, or form can we touch the ooze. But we haven't necessarily tried touching the pedestal.
Do you want to take that gamble?
I just don't. I'm just coming up
Well,
with
wait,
ideas.
Darby, are you finished with your turn?
Are we still in initiative with the fire gun?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, for now. Anon is in a bubble. I need to know what he does. So I need to know if
Hmm.
you're finished or not.
I guess I'll go up near the bubble and ask if he's okay.
Can he hear you through the bubble? Let's see.
That's what I'm wondering.
No, he cannot hear you. So Anon, you see Darby's mouth moving, but you hear nothing. You also saw the wall of fire materialize and then dematerialize, having been dispelled.
I can move around though, like in this little
I don't know.
area.
A sphere of shimmering force. It is just large enough to contain the creature inside.
I struggle.
Okay. As you push against it, you find that you are able to roll the sphere.
It's a giant hamster ball.
Okay. I'm going to. What's my movement speed? Hold on.
Oh my gosh! You should
Yeah.
roll it into
I'm
the
moving-
pedestal.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So
Okay. You roll the sphere into the pillar.
I move 20 away and then run as fast as
Oh,
I can
you-
to hit it.
You can only move up to half your speed.
Okay, so I move 10 away and then run into it at 10, the last 10.
Okay. The weightless ball collides gently with the pillar.
I sit down.
Okay. All right. We can end initiative order here. Does anybody else want to try anything currently?
Okay, so we can't touch it. We can't coax it.
I would like to inspect, without touching the pillar or the pedestal, I'd like to inspect the trapdoor on the floor.
Okay. It looks largely to just be it's like a ring with a seam down the middle that looks like it would open up. Give me an
So it would-
investigation check.
Okay.
You see that the seam also goes up the pillar. Very, very faint, difficult to spot, but you did notice it.
So it's kind of like the pillar would also split?
Yes.
Hmm.
So we
The
can't
pedestal.
just move it then.
I'm sorry, what was that about the pedestal?
The pedestal is the one with the seam in it. The pillar is the thing coming from the ceiling.
Right. Well, you said pillar, but
I know.
okay.
I know. That's why I'm correcting myself.
Okay.
Does the sphere go
Okay.
away? Yet?
I'm waiting to see what people want to try first, and then
Gotcha.
we'll determine what happens with the sphere.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like anybody else wants to try anything. So after a short amount of time, the bubble does indeed dissipate, and Anon returns to being able to hear and speak with the group.
Neat.
I ask Anon if he's okay.
I draw an arrow and say, let's just get this over with and point it at the thing.
Huh?
I hold myself, but like, I'm ready to attack this stupid thing.
Is that where we're at? We have no other creative ideas.
Well,
I'm angry, so creativity is out the window as far as I'm concerned right now. I'm just waiting to see if anybody else has anything.
I mean, poking it didn't work. Luring it away didn't work.
Like, touching it at all, basically.
Mm.
I mean, you could try touching the pedestal rather than it. Or just the water skin.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We did poke that.
Yeah, there wasn't. Nothing happened when y'all attacked the water
Oh, for
skin.
Christ's sakes, I'm gonna walk up and see if I can grab the water skin.
It is just outside of your reach,
Oh,
but
God.
perhaps with the assistance of someone else, you could.
Egg, get your fucking ass over here and lift
Oh
me
my
up.
god!
It grabs him by the waist and holds him up.
Oh,
Okay.
why did it have to be by the waist?
Anon firmly grasps the water skin in his hands,
Firmly grasp it.
and then
YOLO,
Okay.
yank it out.
Do I yank or do I squeeze to see if I can, like, overflow it or something? Like, choke on this,
Hey,
you
man.
bitch.
This was all your idea.
Yeah, I yank it to
Shit.
see if I can.
please make a strength check.
Oh,
I'm glad I
Darby
didn't go
didn't
grab
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
You
Mine's-
got this.
Mine's not that much better.
Oh, that was actually a good roll.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You find that despite it being firmly wedged in place, you're able to slide the water skin out quite neatly if you just pull it downward, like in the direction that the pillar itself is facing. And as you do so, you see that the ooze kind of like folds back into itself to keep attached to the bottle, but you are now holding the water skin detached from the pillar, and the ooze is still attached to the end of the water skin.
Nice.
Can I
Maybe-
send out Mage Hand to go grab the
Water skin.
released water skin,
Okay.
and then I guess try and like lure it down off the pedestal?
With the other one?
No. He's gonna use Mage Hand to move the water skin.
Since
Which
he's
water
like
skin?
the one Anon is holding.
Okay.
Yeah, I've taken
so-
my water skin back already.
Okay. So you want to have Anon let go.
Yes, because he's being held up by Egg right now.
Egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're
release
gonna-
him from his turmoil.
Okay.
Never.
And I want to
Okay.
like slowly ease it down
Mm-hmm.
and like down the side of the pillar, so maybe the ooze will squirm down with it.
Eventually, the ooze is going to resist more than Mage Hand can pull. But let's say that yes, it would quite like a slug, just kind of creep over the side of the pillar, but it doesn't seem to want to detach itself from the pedestal, and also at the same time the water skin. So say that it is like halfway down the side of the pedestal now.
Okay, can I then maneuver it to be on a side that is not like it's not sitting on top of a seam?
Sure.
Somebody should look in the basin.
Yeah, I agree.
You two
I'm
were
too
here.
short.
Oh, Nan is too tall because I'm holding him up, so Egg will look.
So as you're looking at the top of the pedestal, you see that there is a small grooved indent.
Like a place where a key would go, or what?
Or sorry, not an indent, like whatever the opposite of an indent is. It looks like it is the shape of whatever is cut out from the pillar. Like they could go together.
So gotta flip it.
So you could take the piece from inside the basin and put it like a stopper into the pillar?
Like this.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
Egg, do you want to try and move it?
Sure. Can I
It
move
is
it without disturbing the ooze?
it is firmly in in place.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to visualize it. Does the seam in the pedestal go through that bit?
I don't know what you mean.
Because I'm guessing the seam bisects this pedestal.
So like pedestal in the floor. At the top of it where the ooze was sitting is this little the little tenon in that picture. And it's shaped in such a way that it would fit in the cutout from the pillar.
The cutout
they
that
were-
the
if-
water skin was sitting in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the tenon is not bisected by the carved trapdoor crease seam in the pedestal.
I don't know. Can you say that a different way, maybe?
So the seam from the floor, the trapdoor,
Uh-huh.
runs up
Mm-hmm.
vertically through the pedestal.
Yes.
But there is not a seam on the tenon itself.
No, there would be. It's all a
Okay.
solid piece.
So if the pedestal were to separate along that seam, the tenon would be split in half.
Presumably, yes.
Okay. Well, that's a puzzle, isn't it?
There. That's more clear. I put it in the wrong channel before.
Remember where you are.
Okay, so we're in the shadow realm.
Yuki boy.
So we need the shadow of the tenon going.
Or the other way around.
I don't think the Morris casts a shadow.
Oh.
I mean, I don't have a light, so you guys do what you're going to do.
Well, what if it's a
All right.
situation where we have to extinguish the torches so that it disappears?
But there's ambient light around here.
Yeah, but I mean, worst case scenario, we just extinguish the torches and I just light them back up again with prestidigitation.
I don't know why that would work. Do anything.
Just a
Okay,
thought.
can we well, how far up from the basin does this tenon extend?
How about you just tell me what you want to do?
Try
I
and
want-
line
So I
up
don't-
some
I-
shadows.
I'm gonna try and get
Okay.
the shadow of the tenon over the mortise
Okay.
by holding the torch in a particular way.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. You do that, and you hear a loud click, and the pillar or the pedestal begins to rotate, and then the seams align, and it begins to split.
Nice.
Good job, Egg.
I'm
Way
gonna
to
keep
go.
following the slime with the the water skin as it moves.
Okay. As the seams begin to split, the floor begins to come apart, and you see that it is a single, very tight, narrow stairwell that goes downward.
All right, that seems like a way out.
Word.
Does it?
Well, it's better
It's
than
more of a
being in
way
this-
out than anywhere else.
This stupid room with this stupid
Yeah.
slime.
It seems like a way further in. There is no way out. How about that? Does that make you feel better?
No.
Eh.
Forward.
Forward.
Always forward and-
Progress.
Always turning.
Always turning.
Okay. So you guys are all gonna head down then?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna leave Mage Hand there until I get out of range of it and just let it fall
Okay.
off.
Okay. Um.
Roll a d8.
Oh,
No.
what?
No. You guys are gonna head down, and after you get down a short ways, you'll hear that the floor begins to close back up. Now that that's happened, I'm asking, why did you guys just leave a magic water skin?
Crickets.
Because he liked it so much.
Okay. All right. So the group continues to head downward. The air gets very thick, cloying, and warm. And you feel, or rather, like you feel and hear a very rhythmic, singular, just like vibration that occasionally runs through the floor. Give me actually passive perception. Darby would pick up that it's almost like the rhythm of breathing. As you continue to descend further downward, you eventually come across a much larger version of the same door that you saw when you entered this area in the first place.
Hmm. We're likely getting close, so we should stay as quiet as we can.
No argument here.
All right.
If you're waiting on me, you guys are standing here looking at a door.
Well, if it's a similar door to the other one, I'm going to approach it.
As you approach it, you see that much like the one before it, this one does have like that same iconography, but this one has a distinct indent in the center where it looks like your amulet would fit. There are a few interesting symbols on the door, however.
Well, I'm gonna inspect the symbols before jamming things into holes.
Sure. So this one looks like it's like a creature holding out a chest, and then like a much larger, not entirely tangible creature is reaching out with a spectral hand and taking it. And then behind that, so it's almost like a tapestry telling a story of some sort. That there is a ruby, or not a ruby, but it's like an egg-shaped red object, which you can surmise to be the ruby, but it's split in half, and then like another creature that you see bathed in like a pillar of shadow.
Well, just as cryptic as everything else to do with this thing. I'm gonna put the key in the keyhole.
Okay. As you do so, uh, the amulet is absorbed into the door,
That's not great.
and it, with a soft hiss, the doors begin to slide open, and an immense heat, like, just washes over each of you, and that rhythmic, labored vibration of the floor is now suddenly much louder, as though it's coming from within. Um, the fires, much like the door above, are being pulled inward toward the door. But you can see that just inside what looks to be a lake of shadow.
Why couldn't you have made a deal with the bartenders as like normal people? What the hell is this?
So help me, Mordrak, I am not gonna die down here.
Down here.
So you still think we can capture this thing for your captors?
I'm so close to death, I just hope it's swift at this point.
All right, we don't got much of a choice other than to head in.
We could go back.
No, that thing closed.
We could go back and try and carve our way out with our weapons.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
I think we're ready as we'll ever be.
Egg is ready to step forward and say hi.
Nope, so let's go.
All right. As you each step into the room, the door stays open behind you for a moment before closing with that same silent hiss. As it does so, the room goes pitch black, except for a moment later, when a single orb of orange light appears in the center of the lake itself seeming to grow much more violent, like rolling and turning.
I didn't get my amulet back, did I?
You did not.
It's scary as hell in here.
A moment later, a second orb of orange light appears, and then the third, much larger, gaping. And you realize that the lake was not a lake, but a mass of shimmering scales. As a creature opens its maw before you, and just shadow spills out of its mouth. It seems to
Yeet.
regard you with some curiosity.
Hi, I'm Egg.
If you guys don't have it open, the Fantasy Grounds background is changed.
Yeah, it's so
Yep.
cool.
Oh, okay. I still have that combat map over it. I see.
Mm.
Hey, buddy.
So the lake around you is no longer a lake, but a monstrous, magnificent, out of character dragon.
Yeah.
And as it opens its mouth, out pours heat and shadow, which just bathes the room and just douses all light except for that which originates from within itself. Through the reflection of the orange in its eyes and mouth, you see that its scales are a mixture dappled red and black. And this is where we're going to end session.
Okay. Neat.
Egg has spoken up and said hello, and that is going to be the end of it for now.
Hence the end of us.
All right.
Yeah, we're just ready for the end of the campaign next session.
Yeah, really.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. So I'm going to bring this up now.
Okay.
I am running into a little bit of GM burnout. Like I'm hitting a point where I feel like I want to take a step back and take a bit of a break. And so I've got a good stopping point in mind for a couple of things. I didn't really want to TPK it, and so I've been trying to avoid that. But if it happens, it happens. But I just want to give everybody a little bit of a heads up and say that here maybe anywhere between the next 1 to 5 sessions, as soon as we reach a point where I'm comfortable with it, I want to just kind of shelve this, put things on hiatus, and give me some time to maybe explore a couple of other creative outlets because I feel like I've gotten stuck here. I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go fully in that regard, but I just want you guys to have a bit of a heads up so I don't blindside you and say, "Hey, I'm just done."
Sure. It's
we've been
interesting you
playing
bring
for a
this
long
up,
time.
actually. I've been feeling kind of the same as, like,
Yeah.
not necessarily burnout because I'm not doing anything but showing up, but, like,
Yeah.
it's been harder to schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky
And-
enough that when we have been scheduling it has been really good for me. But, like, if there were if Homer just started saying, like, I can't do Saturdays ever, we're going to have, like, some issues on my side.
Well, sure. And so, I mean, that's kind of the same boat I'm in. I know we're all adults and, real life takes precedence. And I appreciate everybody coming as often as we do.
Yeah.
I just, like, I've hit a point where it's like, I want to put this on the shelf. And it's because I am putting in a lot of work doing it. And then I'm not even having as much fun as I was just because I've kind of hit that burnout. And so, as soon as we hit that stopping point, I just kind of want to put things on the shelf, consider it to be like an indefinite hiatus. And then if everybody kind of realigns and I've had some refresher, maybe we can come back and pick things up or even just start something different would be fine with me. But
Sure.
I did want to put that on the table. We've been playing a long time together. I didn't want to, blindside anybody. And I do really appreciate everybody being here as often as they are and being mostly on time and everybody putting in the effort every week or whenever we play.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to call session here. Like I said, we've got 1 to 5 left before we put this on the shelf or go into indefinite hiatus. So kind of think about things that you would feel satisfied having accomplished given the current situation you're in, and feel free to let me know and we can start building toward those so that if we do put this on the shelf, it's not at such a cliffhanger point where there's no resolution or closure for people that want it.
Sure. I just looked it up, and out of pure gameplay time, we have 200 hours worth together.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't
That's
include
a good
the
chunk.
couple times that I haven't been there
We
and
haven't.
the side stuff
Yeah.
you did with other people.
Yeah. So
Way to go,
it's been a long
guys.
time. We've had a good run, and it's not necessarily over. And even if we shelve this, if you guys want to do other things, like if we hit a point where we have the schedule available and people feel up to it, we could always run something else. I just want to put Fallout New Greyhawk on the shelf for a little while.
Sure.
That's fair.
So
It's also harder when you have to create everything. This isn't like a module that you can just run.
Sure.
Right.
And I mean, one of the other things that I've run into is like I've discovered a lot of things that I think I could make the game better with, but we have enough continuity that I don't want to just retcon stuff because that bugs me. So I want to go back and, shelve this for a bit, maybe try something else with the new stuff that I've learned. And if it all works out, then when I come back to this, I can implement it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm just changing the rules every week.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to do some
yeah,
like
'cause
one-shots randomly whenever
Yeah,
possible.
I would be fine with that. I would be totally fine with that. And I've got ideas for it that can make them work and various stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm totally fine running other stuff once we do shelve it. I just, like I said, I need some time, and I've learned a lot about 5th edition, and I've learned a lot about, how this system works, and I think I can improve in areas. And like, honestly, I learned the other day, hit points in 5th edition are not wounds. Like you get wounded, like a serious wound is when you hit 0. Like you get, that's when you get stabbed. It's basically like composure or posture leading all the way down to 0. So it's like you're getting battled back and tired out, not actually hacked, slashed, and cut up.
Right, to the point where like your reflexes are so fucked you can't really fight back anymore.
Yeah, it's 0 HP means you're taken out of the battle, and it's like, oh, well, that's new. So I guess we're gonna that's why 5th edition healing works the way that 5th edition healing does, and not like 3.5 healing. So it's all the various little things that I've learned and picked up.
Gotcha.
But,
Cool.
Also Pathfinder 2 is coming out soon, and I've been participating in some of the playtest material, and there's some stuff I want to take from that system and weave into 5th edition that I think goes really well, but I can't do that until it's officially out.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
There's actually some really neat stuff in Pathfinder 2 that I want to take, and I think you guys will enjoy them if you've been having fun.
Well, good job, Rumble. Not only did you take away Wolf from World of Warcraft from me, but you also took away the DM. Good job.
Wow. Rumble has a serious vendetta against you guys, I guess.
Yeah, it's fair.
So it goes.
Should have just played more WoW. Everything would have been fine.
I'm
yeah,
sure. All right.
everything.
I don't know what you guys' schedules are like for the next couple of weeks, but I'd be fine doing something either the 5th or the 12th. Honestly, we could do the 28th. That'd be fine too. Just depends.
Yeah, I don't know my schedule going forward yet. Except
Okay,
that-
well then let us know when you know, and worst case scenario, we can do another 8 to 12.
Yep.
All right. Then any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, the encounter we had, was that a homebrew or was that an actual enemy?
Which encounter?
The shadows and like images or
that's
whatever the
homebrew.
outlines. That was homebrew.
That's homebrew.
That was
Yeah.
a good idea.
Thanks.
What did we miss with the
All right.
paintings?
Not gonna tell you.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
for the shadow encounter thing, if you had turned off the lights, you could not have hit them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like just like everything else vanished when there was no light on it. So that was the core there. So like you guys not bringing any torches and then having to makeshift them was kind of fun there. All right.
Gotcha.
I'm
I
going to
have some
close
serious
session
concerns
unless
about this dragon issue that we're having now.
It's fine.
It'll be okay. Dragons like to deal.
Oh, good.
And
yeah, dragons
Sit
are
high.
basically you can just call this dragon Gavlin because like all dragons, he wants to wheel and deal.
exactly. And we have somebody who likes to just sell his soul for every fucking thing he sees, so we'll be fine.
Hey, to be fair, if he's already sold his soul a couple of times, he can't sell it anymore. So it's gonna have to
That's
either be egg or
not
a
if they
non
don't
now.
know he sold it.
All right, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go find food. You guys all have a great night.
All right.
All right.
good
All right.
game.
See you guys.
See ya.
Night.
Nice.